Hello, hello, testing, 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 one, two. Yeah, I can hear you. Testing, one, two, one, two. Hello.
from Waswanipi, and he's going to address you a couple of words.
Yo guvana mo ya I begi imuni up that Cisco. Cindy had a no go minaji Robert. Jito is to me I reach when that you start never go married at Sonia.
Miigwech. Yeah.
Hey, Nagi Suhagna, Friday got a schedule. You don't want to use my head.
I hear you dead. Muy muk pego gibetok snano na muk pejeg na swita muk naskumano I hear. Utsmakan Luisa Jui Sham Gats, Nitin Jui Jab Chmas Kaka Michelle. Jibetok Shaska the Badum Stadats who Jagona we can not take notes Mamo Jig not take notes get. Robert's son Robert Kitchen was one beach no chin Nemskas no Norwegian Megoch. Iuni. Dohido gedi am skutsbal guys karago de stits. Ik denk out steandis daksits. Den do stits. Me god dis god do na he. Niskap mahat. Ik krijg dis emot signemes. Ik des dat schöne de emot staan medium you medium is some gogan. Share my family. U jago o kapedado u jizaga uyuga grot diagnosticar did you emu diagnos wait mocht precies wie de badum stad no da geist net squat aan de used it not togan ge not sitting aan ons en den de hostinant achu shashi spion de ten de utats kadi switch mukajibet bite buio da he we do sneer wet muktang waited de waited no achu spiosas Asis nagon betok sunondis gawe we gabotoga it's todoga you do sinonis mine mag it's bitagnots I de eu did which wet egun pek jagoden nagde tmatskanan egun sti we did nagde to sagadi do dat stagnosti eu did which wet taneji mshnui ni mesknayu taneji did which wet you give share and nanot chema gnu wishes amsk mus sige troyo dakogot nepi ego daga kaisad balum stog hoeg ki barasa ego ni ganske dis jigwez bog boya big dusto sas jigwez magic jibet nadmunan kya jiji nadmunan da giji wichidno ego much kai dak Nathan Michelle ga wijab chimgo giji wichidno Chris kega de wichwet giji wichidno Nathan Maria giji wichidats Jero jiwi chwen we get eight nanots. Egon we ash made no ni na kason we ash miao ni kason. We did you not thing notes that it is snacks get that we get we mukta da ege o ga mine ege not thing notes check out mine doctor we take that goodness. Chedes to go to not thing no. Chedo to go to no we snacks cheo jibe doxundo. Sneezels get the mas good tight sets these with now snapshabish the hair live stream the grades you watch them out get when these with the huge with now watching much the meeting ote deduction kagabawian mingwi bawi for sure I just love the fact that you invited me to come here Guy to meet these elders and hopefully mingi deduction good to get change when you get in school Nudge me also the town more. Nudden Towden, me also meet any looks then. I go there, Miigwech. Yeah.
So the idea tonight is to present you our project and see how it will impact the community, how it can improve or better be designed to meet the needs and the the objections and objectives of all stakeholders.
You see, then what is gas number to one you can Tajikimam Nagatoy not to stone. Sakagibai you the Ganuchawan. Najitaganot.
Sorry. So we have signed a pre-development agreement already in April 2024 with the former council for a better settlement of what are the objectives of both parties in respect of each other's rights and how to develop that project in accordance with your values and our needs.
Swananja Udajita, Subishim Watoni 2024, doesn't a huge ma. Tajimamu and the got without Janji is not going to stone.
So usually when I meet first time in communities, especially elders, I'm asked, Guy, why do we need to remove this rock from our land? What is it going to be used for? What is the benefit of removing that rock from the land?
Why they use you. Excuse me, Quadijamon, we have been a Magoya, no, Gujawan and what we those customers in has Nagaji to go near.
The reason in this case, as all the people on earth wants to reduce the carbon emission, one of the easiest way is to reduce the weight of anything that is moving, be it a car, be it a plane, be it a satellite or a rocket. We need to reduce the weight.
I did you Naganus? I never see why maybe I own. But too many as I'm going to need now to customize you. Mr. Matei was going to see. Way to customers need way Munamaju.
So the benefit and the properties of scandium, the mineral that we want to mine, is that it creates very, very good alloys. Very small quantities of scandium mixed with aluminum makes alloys that are lightweight, high strength, corrosion resistant, and very good conductor of electricity and heat.
I'm going to know we have aluminum. Get Tukunda Sneak to go. Secondai Mioni of the Mr. Scotoyo, at Taganojo. Agakiba is a stoganage that he Mr. Todagot one. Yeah, what is
It's located about 14 kilometers east of Lac des Goélands and about 4 or 5 kilometers west of Border Beacon on the Labrador frontier.
Stay the north of stay border beaconing head on the Labrador. I did that as you use the space and the town. Go out and die, Saskara to get you, and the Saunus and the Nagotican squaggers can notice nuts. Saunus and the Miskut, I wouldn't have to get what to stones at Chamunagan as Nick.
It is a very, very unique situation around the world. Currently, scandium is obtained as a byproduct. In this case, the main product is scandium, which makes it unique in the world.
The Tarzano and the Tukunin as Nagot Sneo, the Utastigio, I'm going to need as Nagaji. I get by aim as that used to because you know dog I knows you.
So, if you look at this map that has been provided, the background by the community and Michel Bacon, the liaison officer, you see the different zones of interest. The star to the right is where the mine would be located. In red, the existing roads. and in green, the permanent road that needs to be built to get the material out.
Maskino dahan to kuno inda. Guna maskino do sila kuno minat. Na agda na skapin da itaw ni. Agda to kas na to kuna inda to stone da to kun.
I have 2 stars. One is the mine. The other one near Emerald Junction is where we intend to build the transformation plant to do the final product.
Agda nis na na start itaw ji. Iyan bang da emerald na maskino da gusta bitin. Agda da to kas ji wahi mi haganos ga da ji yes gusta ganos na sini. Agda I judgmenta chutiyo.
So just for the benefit of more details, you see Emerald Junction, Road 500 to Goose Bay, the Tsutin Rail, and that's approximately where the hydromet plant would be located.
Da itong da agna na isko da ban maskino. Guna kutag da agna ango na Mr. Maskino na da Labrador City Speed. Go agna gitis na da igno agna da judgmenta chutiyo.
So we have used a template provided by the Nunavik Mineral Exploration Fund so that everybody talks the same language when we talk about an exploration and a mining company.
Yun na vikya bas numuji na amunay janoy tanjay na siya igno na to stone kaya tanjay to kataw.
So you see from the left, pre-exploration, exploration, development of a project, that's where we are. So we're currently having a preliminary economic assessment in 2022 that has been positive. Now we're moving to determine the feasibility of the project economically. The what? Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Jasti munay jasabin siya Whiskers na mutano jasti munay jasabin siya anando say that jokan yun that dito ni kaya Pratata to muna specify ko yung puna ang ganda minaji at sumitagano tanjay to kataw to stone kaya sunayo tanda jo nagano kaya tanjay isna ko na isna ko tagano dai to stone na da to ni to sawa gano kaya siya na kado ida gano kaya ti specify gano na ti specify to kata si bada kaya jadi na doa da gano jo skesi iyo jiwa jadi na skmoch kaya jadi na to bisna jo jadi to gaji ki ba na skmuna jadi jiga sta gano kaya jo ji guji iyo.
So the project summary, very simple. A very small mine, open pit, about 426,000 tons of ore per year to produce 192 tons of concentrate per year.
Ang sa sagano to stone jay to kataw that is specially 426 yards maybe na sini may mga tarag muna mo kaya sa sagano tapan na 192,000 yards tons na special scandium.
An access road of 162 kilometers from the mine to the end of Orma Road that goes down to Churchill Falls to truck 192 tons per year to Emerald Junction. That's about 20 trucks per day.
Na mas kunuya bis na kati kuya kada stability na da Labrador Speed Canada Emerald da iskunu da banda tugas kaya da jo to stats niya sinyo kaya Nisuyo ba mamseju da pana ai to taganod dai na sini pagkijisuka.
Once we're at Emerald Junction, that 192,000 ton of concentrate will be transformed into 91 tons of scandium oxide. Scandium oxide is the white powder that you will see in the following slide. It can be sold, but it can be further transformed, which we're going to do.
Tukunin yo da Georgie Dutchnes and you then ya spesies ga amuna Dutchnia ga da jita nuij ga ta tuijen ni jita gano.
And finally, the best product to be the highest value is to mix your scandium oxide with aluminum, pure aluminum, to make a master alloy aluminum scandium 2%. That's a high value product to be sold to alloy manufacturers.
Yamna ga tukunin chishagno ni na aluminum hada angana ni ya ji chuma mustawas ni senyo ko just say dagat da jita tanu ga da speed dagat ko da uta kubak uta ko da ito ja tukuni judge say dagat pet.
So, like I said, from mine to market, so the ore at the mine, concentrated, transformed into scandium oxide, then transformed in high value master alloy, and at the end of the day, you use that master alloy and you can do a lot of different aluminum scandium or aluminum alloys with addition of scandium.
Hada sini guna minaji na bisa berteganut na sini kutagi ya me jama mustaganut nay na ko ji aluminum ji na kon jat nay na ko das ne me amne ai ko yega ji na ko das tatuij na ai ji speed teganut jawan oi ji teganut ya ji ta no.
So, talking about the project itself, and I've asked your chief to help us, and maybe you can comment also on this, about naming that mine. Currently, it's called the TG zone, which was named by a geologist, but it's not a good name. We would like to invite you to propose some NASCAP name that would reflect the mine.
No ji na to yo TG na to yo ni ganut na ni na sonyo ko ji to mana ji yo jama ho da ga yo jama sko da ga ne yo jama na ga yo Metugana askutan tanjeju chu tagano na na to stone. We shamagno go yo da jibs na chi monio da ju chu tagano na to stone.
Thank you. The purpose of this slide is to show the small footprint of the proposed project. So you see the location, it's about 12 kilometers east of Lac des Goélands, a little south of Mistassini Lake. The mine itself is very small, about 500, 600 meters long, about 200 meters deep, and 200 meters wide. Very small operation.
Awo ya jo da tagano jo. You da no misata da na jespesa munai o pesaso wenyo ganda mitma da agda da kan to tihanu ni da ga jin to tihanu ni ganda like maston ya da go da saunu da ke to da agda da jatu nai na so da no pesaso wenyo.
And like I said at the beginning, we want to, of course, take advice and comments and decide how to best implement the mine and all of the infrastructures. The only thing that cannot move is this here, because that's where the mine is. The balance, we can play with it, we can displace it, put it further, make it less risky if people are adverse to risk. And overall, all of this, including the airstrip, It's covering 8.5 square kilometer.
Tukun tayo at dito kanisi na sa wakan wa to sabji dona kena that was na sini just tagano da muna igno kya tukun tayo to onan tayo jito tagano yo.
This gives you a view of the after the last resource estimate done in April this year, the size of the deposit, and that's what I was mentioning. 550 meters long, 200 meters deep, and an average width of 130 meters. The number of tons here, they can provide for about 40 years of operation at 426 tons per year.
Angu jis muna igno kya jis pesao kya na punai shodo sa sekan at jito kano dai tukun yun da jita shunyo 16.3 shodo kya na 2023 and I johi dagni saban da imon.
40 years.
Now you puna.
Okay. What's interesting also about the project itself, not only the mine, but the whole project of Crater Lake, it because the mine I just showed you is only covering this portion here. The yellow bar is 14 kilometers. In that 14 kilometers, you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 identified zones that have showed scandium at economic value. But since 2021, all of the amount has been spent on increasing and confirming the size of that resource in the middle. So we're talking about a location in the world that is unique and that can last for centuries if we're talking seriously here.
Stuff that punai that reason I James Commotion that Tito Ganage. Go angry na goya no joy with the hatch again, no joy with the hatch.
For the people who are wondering about the impact on the lake and the water, the TG zone is in the yellow circle. So you see the lake, which is called, by the way, Misery Lake. We named the project Crater Lake because it was less scary for investors because you don't want to put your money on a Misery Lake project. So this here is about 70 meters above the lake level. So, and the width of the mine is going to stop about here. So there's no real on each side, and even across here, no water involved in the project.
Memen bescoot now is nagan na agda George Munats and go madam ne sagagni madam ne that's camp I sort of go hana more that easy. Go bescoot now they can especially
70.
70 meters is sort of Mr. Champ bescoot now.
Yes, please. Yes. They have drinking water? Yes. The lake? Yes. 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 No. 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 It will go, that I have not checked with the engineers that are preparing the system. I suppose biomethanization, I don't know how you say that in English. For taking yeah. I don't know. No, of course, yes. We will
Tawas
relate-
na ka-debate at sita. Kumanuasaw sa na nabiyo ito. Nahito ko. Kanya ay tanda si Jason ko tumusapo ito. Tumuna nawan da ito. Go. Ka-debate at na nakuha naman na ni ang iya ka nando sa ito dito.
Good question.
They're asking like, is there going to be an impact statement like
Oh, of course.
EIS and
Yes, absolutely.
like they're worried about the impacts?
That will go through impact assessment review. It will go through the, I don't know if it's the BAP here or COMEX, but it will be reviewed by the federal, by the provincial, the road with Newfoundland also, and the federal. So we have started baseline studies of the site itself, not the road, until we decide exactly where it's going to be. But of course, it's all going to go through permitting, public hearings, and we will have to support with studies all of the commitments. Yeah, absolutely.
Kaya Quebec na ito, chodo mahalaga Ottawa ay siwa jida da jida mo na ito dan di simata ito ko niyo. Mutum na ito mamusa sa kano na imon. Washi ka shipia ka mutum da bitu sa kano tito ka washi sa titat. Miyamuya ka tuta kuyak na minas ko tak na kaniska kuyak. Kaya atusto kayo ya bisa si namagno ka da chodo mahana tumna jidat mi omus na gnawa. Kaya tanda sa tito kanis niya utiwa. Tumsa ko nito jidat no yo.
Sorry?
About the protected areas, they're like George River.
Yes. No, the protected area is let me go back to this slide here. The protected area, if I recall, is here, like this. So we're, I would say, 40, 50 kilometers east of the boundary, east of that protected area.
Are you going to do some blasting?
Yes, of course.
Hey. He's concerned about the wildlife, the impact of the wildlife, and their source of food, and the plants, the medicinal plants, and
Yeah.
other impacts.
Yeah.
Contamination.
Yeah. Well, of course, we're all taking care, not taking care, we're accounting for that in the development of the project, be it dust, be it water quality. Of course, we're going to be drinking that water too. So, and we're in the George River watershed, so we'll definitively consult with George River people and be making all of the assessment about the risks associated with the water going into George River, but also with the wildlife. We are making the initial assessment impact baseline studies, and from there we'll try to find ways to avoid any problems with the wildlife. Yeah.
Tumaganando sa dahil ko, may as a kwaji sa mundo sisa kaya niya shipia kaya sa kaya na. Kaya daw sa tabit ni niya Nabiya sa god. Miyam na mo so si bit. Kaya natumda daw na nito ji. Natumang wina do sa ilan ang days ma day daw niyo. Kaya jijidat mi dina chose ma. Ani ju chiji chose ma Quebec Canada.
Yeah. So the purpose for the meeting tonight is to give you, well, to present ourselves, talk to you about the presence of that project, well, since 2009 initially, former management, that led to the preliminary economic assessment. Now we're moving into the next phase, which is the economic feasibility of the project.
Iyan yung jijidada niyo kasi 2009. Mungkin sa nga jijiyo ito kano yo kaya wano jiyo ang kun ni at iga buidat siya to so niyo kaya na siyas na kito ida kano sa na sa ida kano si sama ida kano kaya yo isu wat stas chagwa yo tatu isu muta mo kano to so.
Yeah. So another reason for being here tonight is, as we take advantage of your presence, is to talk about our next phase of exploration work this summer and summer of 2026. So we're not building the mine, we're not blasting the mine this year or the year after. We are still making exploration work on the property. So you see here the TG zone that we talked about, but we filed for a permit with the Ministry of Natural Resources. We did consult with the different communities and with Michel Bacon, and we explained what we want to do this summer.
Mungkin kami mun mamusas na kano kaya kewi to so kewi. Mesti sino cuy kaya kos kustaja pun mesti kos kos mo di jagoyo kaya to so ni jadi mungkin kami tidak ada kano wat to so dan jadi to kata. Jadi semadai tahun.
So on the 14 kilometers of the property, there is this area here that we want to continue the base exploration by stripping the topsoil and taking samples of rocks.
Ang yun na kung niya ni at nadas na nujita ko idat ang niya sa bukan idat cipa sa bukan idat sa tuwi na yun to say mo tandas precision da.
So this summer we would be doing stripping and sampling about 4 or 5 weeks, mid-August to mid-September. And if successful with the results, summer of 2026, diamond drilling to get further information under the ground.
Miyam dad isna niyo August to September so do may magaskas niya. Doesn't to say that's na mo niya sinyo. Bunyat kustage na punyo 2026 ani benij. Ako din dai bukan ijaw na tuisha sinan to say that's niya. Nanti spesial niya sinyo.
Last summer, when we did diamond drilling on the TG zone, we undertook, and we're still under that undertaking, that if we see, and that's why we stopped the work mid-September, because of the possibility of having caribous walking down towards the project. So we have undertook, and we're still undertake, not to work and not to do diamond drilling if some caribous or even one individual shows up in a certain radius, according to the discussions we've had with Michel.
Iyan ya dito sa dan apo na ija yung daw sko bisum da to gajo kaya utas bisum atu amate da ko sa waska tio kot nagabinano ni kaya nagabinano o magno sa tio ito da tita sa dai to so no ito da gano ya when I to say that sinyo kaya atu ko sa naskomonyo miyam na keso ito gano si jadi nagabi to sound mesma that what magnotio that.
So just to give you an idea, I've shown some pictures of the type of work we're planning to do this summer. So you see here the discovery area where we plan to work. There was a little stripping done, and that's a type of very light equipment to remove very small amount of topsoil to be able to come and cut the rock in small, about 2 inches wide, 2 inches deep, 1 meter long, to be able to make assays without disturbing the land.
Kaya ka mamasita ka na CEO. Tahos ang damo kay utsukas kay no si anan was nan to say that's near niyo. Kaya na CEO kaya na sini na bidwati kunawa.
There's a existing camp, 4-season camp at the site where we can have a maximum of 20 persons at all time. That's where we do the sampling, the core splitting, and preparing the assays to be sent to the lab.
Akan ni suyo sa sigay da surgat sa hetyo na nan to say amunay jano juga. Apo kana igno na si nan to say da igno na sini kaya inday ya biji mugda jito hai ni naga pias na bij ka tawa kaya na tupskur ko fit.
So, like we say, Kawachicamak is at the heart of our project. It's the first community that we have entered discussions with and that we entered into a pre-development agreement. We understand the traditional use of the land by your community. So, of course, we're going to be talking and making agreements with other First Nations, be it Inuit or the Labrador side with the Innu, even south to Washat, Macmayutanam. And obviously Mitsumeko Lac John. So you see here that was taken at the end of our campaign last year with the former chief Teresa and Christina Makush. That was one of her son was working with us on that field trip.
You ito na jida da kano you jumahan kaya na ikatuskas sa di CEO kay that you did 2024 in August di Daniel. Ako dun tayo Teresa, move na ni Chanda kiba na move sa naguhan na sa you jumahan.
Oh, sorry. Stop working. That was the agreement when we started last year. That's why we started the drilling more in July, August. We ended the drilling mid-August last year. The idea was we could go as far as September 15, but we were made aware that it would be best if we tried to shrink and stop before the end of August. So we finished, so there was nobody there in September. Not the exploration phase, because we don't lose money in the exploration phase unless we have not finished drilling and we pay people to stay at the camp doing nothing. Of course, you pay them and you don't have the samples. But it's not a mining operation. With the type of work that we're currently doing, it's much easier for us to be able to adapt the campaigns to be out of the ground when we most likely are to expect some caribou coming. Yeah. I cannot speak for the others. I'm speaking about our undertakings. And for now, we're not producing. So like I say, it's easy. In a production facility and thinking about what could be done, you could easily manage your ore pile without needing to blast for maybe a week or two. And then you can only run the mill with less noise and less movement. So it's something that we bear in mind in the schedule that we want to build. But it's way too early to say that we're going to lose money because we're not producing. Yeah, well, please be reassured that we're serious too. Yeah.
Hello. Hey, nasagot agad si kendo no si Miss Gataw di show. Masyado sa das paidos niya. Dito sa. Wapin no tas gata chuat nos. Canada dito sa paidos dito sa sauna juda. Sonda sa no si ispata ni chot yan. Iya. Katiga chukan ja. Kung ang ni Jamia yu datats kewa kewa jadi kita mau genoch. Pada metau misatu dat cheus metau. Dan jokan dia cheus ndaga bazab menagnos no simis. Agnen ko bahta chego ki aisna guni jessiu ki ai ada jisho i ada bazumut na cheo. Pamitanan nasmiji da magno dosis kenian wasman namuanan nosis. Ausis da wasis mitigi jissai magno jatahu seton. Utan dan jihnagus nawan. At skanisis na ujaja. At utaja nawan kaya sajajawan umijam. Mas magun na yabaji yo itonan. Amat namutuan mijimyo. Asyik na sinabitain. Angun miskos yabaji. Joy gaji sabatawas kaya. Miyodan da mugiya. To so gaji tabatagi kumbitag no na kaimnanong sa. Nantun joy batagun dan iya. Kandu tagnis. Askas ko joy tagno. Jagjas sa itong jonji. Agunan na ito man miskat tago siya choos. Niskumaw. Mukhang kaya joy jidap mahos. Kaya tatahos mijimyo. Ya gati tak ni ai ni timeline is jada. Askunda metaus na joy dana. Asknya metaus chikutus no mina ji na mi na environment impact statement to that so jama ke ne ke yuwa ke laboratory yuwa. Wamusari ke squid nahi mem stabam squid squidau se abjitas nestio. And those ya chui samagno nahi. Ke misado chui simagona. Kandu tagnos to. Ke jinan istem sig naitan. Ke chui pion. Hey, tahu ni asal tu seri kan udah senang ni kuhanas. Siapa bacon si besnum lagi monyo. Kenzo wajib ke besnum muji monyo. Ayo jamio nas start es kau nusimich. Ah, kunen. Aku ni abaca kuhanas. Wanda atat ni nusimich. Kapag isip menagno na yo. Aku ni cas no tabis. Kuna ketika macam mucah masih naik ni saya tu. Ah, kita tahu sini jangan mucah. Kuna we nas nusimio iwas aku nen. James College. Yang ibadah sekolah no cah. Jadi tugas senda. Kibagan dah tugas macam mana ya benda kan untuk dihoji. Na gulangi hada agadin da bis mastang gi hada agadin ka batsin ka miasa chatam yowan smitan am skog no ebre ka mias ki agad tukun yan da agadin na iton na sahaji yo na jitu hazme jimis ko isbis da I katita na skapi jimis ko isbis da bi katuiji gani bis
It's okay. Oh, this one here?
April
2024, yes,
With who?
with the former consul.
Former consul.
Yeah.
Just the consul, not the people.
No, the consul.
Yeah. The people should have been told about this, not the consul,
That's for,
because the people voted them in
yes,
to lead them,
yes,
but not make decisions for the people.
well noted. That's why we're here, and that's why we're talking with you. That's why we want to have your comments.
But the next time, if
Yeah.
there's an agreement,
It's
the people should know
It
first.
is noted. Thank you. So we talked a bit about the caribou just to confirm that, yeah, we're aware, we're fully aware, and we take that seriously in consideration. We have been following year by year, and the latest we got was 23, 24. And even though there was no sign in the region in 23, 24, we don't take that for granted. We are aware and will be always on the lookout for caribou around the project as we work and as we're there.
Yabit Tihana at the Dajin can at the Doharik but Yabit. At the Sumatao, Yabit Day Nagadway and Chachita and the Michmato. I'm never see, I suppose, say much as you don't much you.
Just to confirm that we are currently in the George River watershed. The yellow star at the bottom shows where we are. So obviously we're going to be much involved with the George River people.
Agdayo muso shipping the pio that was stability that tumday agunda Mismandan the annual. Agunabit gain is Nagato Mazio to the speed day. Yeah, you take note about.
So just to make you, to put some relative size to the project that we are presenting, and you'll see posters on the wall so that it's easier for you after that to come and comment and discuss with us. But just to show you that the size of what we showed here, 8.5 square kilometers, is only 4 times the size of all of Kawawachikamach, which is 2 square kilometers. You look at Tata Steel, which you know of, 16 square kilometer. If you look at ArcelorMittal, you're talking 123 square kilometers. One of the points that is important on that slide are the tailing pounds here. There will be no tailing pounds on the Crater Lake. There will be no risk of dam bursting in 100 years after the closure of the mine. It's going to be dry stacking, so co-disposition of the waste with the waste rock and the waste coming from the operation of the mill. So I just wanted to try to demonstrate clearly the small size of that operation. So obviously less risky at the end of the day than these big tailing pound here that can create environmental issues after the closure and nobody is there afterward.
You know what you own, yeah, causing us as percent. Can we own as percent? Can I not a Katauji does not Tara? Can I go to Gazi does not as per message of the Dutch seal? Can Amunach near Siona Yakayuna Tabana stats? I'm going to never go to you as you technology CEO. Gunina you to Baston, they don't know Bastardi Laguna. There is no stats now, you.
And fine. Pardon me? Yes, well, not before we decide to build a mine. Currently, there's no digging that is going to take place. Only diamond drilling and stripping of the topsoil to take samples at the surface. In the future, I was going to continue. It is an open pit. It's going to be dug currently down to 200 meters deep. So it's 600 meters long, 200 meters wide, 200 meters deep. Yep. To fill it back. Yep. Yep. Mm-hmm. That's an interesting discussion that we will have as we evolve the project, because I was working on a lithium project at Nemaska with the Nemaska Lithium at the time. We had comments like this. People said, we don't want a lake, we want you to put the pile of rock back in. Some people opposed and said, no, we want that lake to stay there for tourists, for whatever. So there was opposition within the community. So that's one of the things that we will be discussing as we evolve the size of the mine, the expectation, and the economic of doing all of this. Maybe at the end of the day, you're going to be, or your grandson is going to say in 50 years from now, you know, that I like that mountain like it is, and I wanted to stay there. And there's good fishing capacity in that new lake. I want that. So it's really different, and it's really different from one mine to the other. Is it acid generating or not? Is it a good water there, and can fish live in that? Yes or no? Is it connecting underwater with the other lakes and rivers? Yes or no? Is it good? Not. So it's all things that we don't know about, but we're definitively open to discuss these things. Sorry if it was long.
Mainnya wo itu mo na memang akan ada kata na mungkin kata ni sio. Angge ko na kaji mun itu. Ujikat nawan sio itu. Ko aja kami nak kata na sio askedan. Ujikat daimot ni na Çoğum orada skakacı benim cicibit na kanut sanut doy demo da stage sunayo me mugi isna kata tisyo da janda mishkudu usnayım tukani oja cinya uja abji takni chajimi na kata ni kostyo agna tu dogno demo na kanut sanskena wa thara kata uji take isna kasan minaji memna akana katu udah katu tatsyo Talking the positives, not going the ministry environment.
One thing.
If there's no,
Yeah, but to answer your question, is it going to be in writing? We have a pre-development agreement signed with the community that clearly states that in no way it does grant the right to mine. It only grants the right to work together in the exploration phase up to a decision. Before we can mine, and even to get the environmental permit, we will need to settle down and sit down and sign an impact benefit agreement, or I don't know, CISP, you call it, but impact benefit agreement. Without the impact benefit agreement, there will be no permit. So you still have a say at the end of the day. After we have discussions and consultations and sit down and meetings, town halls, and everybody is satisfied, or the majority is satisfied, that's going to be in the permit. Yeah, because when you get the permit to start mining, you must make a deposit of money to assure that in 50 years or 25 years, the life of the mine that they give you the lease for, you have the money available to reclaim the site. So, and the reclamation proposal has to be accepted. So it's part of all of the permitting. So you're all going to be involved in this at the proper time. That's good?
yeah, go that na skumuna to got the ma de dagno skassi to kan skumuna ji komi na dagno si the jinab snatch kanu da snatch sunayo mi ampata to yo puna ishara the ji asko state na sunayo the ji koi mi na dagno skana si kismuna janot.
My friend must be a Oilers fan because he saw that it's 8 o'clock and he wanted to go to the hockey game. So, that being said, let's just go rapidly through the project milestones. We're about to finish this here. So, currently, we're working on the pre-feasibility study. We're still So as you see on that schedule, we're still 2-3 years away from making a final decision for the construction of this mine. We still need to go through the pre-feasibility study that we hope to have completed early 2026 in the first quarter. After that, we have to run a large piloting of metallurgical test that will lead to coming to the feasibility study by the end of 2026. So at the earliest, we will not be building any mine there before 2027.
Miam kayo kuya mukiyas ko stagno imon kaya tanjay to kataw kaya sunao kaya tanday imuna nando sa dagnos kaya jay to songi ba jay spisto ka jay kaya 2026 na asko muna ijano askin bidata tapunay siya jay special na jito taski ba choja mahana jay imuni to ibis na mod siyas ma day dagas waska kaya bijat tatu chawan to chikundoy the maganoজ.
So thank you very much. We're around and we'll like to, oh yeah, you can go to your Rocky game now, Canadian fans.
Sinas ko mo ko kaya to kaya ka to ano ko di jam mo
Oh! Yes, the road. Hey, kiss.
Miał na ta tamica chinas muna ijan wich.
Did you comment?
Uinya chini kan skut ya wa nin kan skan wa iya wa maini so ka pune janos. Nin snake na ta kem na iya Nathan. Nathan mataw niya pas Mr. Bazibius uska. Go iyo go ang kunan go mitay tanas hike makmas. Na tum tanas ni nancha aska ka tutmat chakan wa amsat na siya ka story maket. Kaya na wasishat na chayus ni atam dapchanas na nakipa ang kunchin snika na seta chayus na nans. Uyo na ta kapachi ni tochas na nanchi chishiswana ni na mas kaya uyo chika setus na nans. Kaya wacha mukuya chiyan juita mako tanjibe data ko na chakani cha mi ta hach. Kaya pego ni yu chika setus na nans. Kaya niya ko ito mo ya cha na data cha uya uchmasis na machma. Uchmasis. Nutumen jip mutan. Niya ko iwa ito mo. Nutumen jip mutan po pas. Kunde ita cha uchmasa muna wai kui muna ichochi. Iyin da iya. Wasis niya iyo iya. Miya o tatach. Agutanta iya. Attachment wasis angta toyak nutsni. Kaya wana imikat kam chukonis kaya napiyo. Agutanta yabacha toyak nutsni. Na da border bigin hata. Agutanta muna ichach. Go manishpita itak ni chanta muna ichach uta. Kaya nata uta na sinan. Michma shish. Guni kwat mo nuso kan squimit na nuso cha chapabnis. Jitao cha hachin squad yo na chi muso yus na to shish na mas nans. Chio skutun skat na to nas. Mugni na min chi shishana ni hintanas. We want to be safe mus pe yus asantanas. Askaka utnamats na iya nishkumutas njitas. Goya mukucham gutukusana ke suntuta ko chayus njitanans. Go kaya mitta tapatana na sa sipok na isanos na kako ito mo agno chiyos ang gunan sumiyuta matnaw chihas.
Empty your mouth. Where are you when we need you? No, I don't know. She's the one who was talking. I don't.
He was talking about her journey, the walk, the journey, the where she went and the consultation. Their
here
the
to
steps.
Border Beacon.
Yeah, Border Beacon and where they take kids for a camp for healing.
Okay. Yeah. Since we're all here and we want to exchange and discuss about possibilities, you saw the road that I was proposing, that we are talking about going south directly to Labrador Orma Road. This obviously does not give access to the territory, your territory, coming from Shefferville. I don't know if it's of any interest, but I found in an old presentation an alternate access road that would link the project not to Newfoundland, but to Shefferville. I like the idea, but I want to know if it's something that triggers fears or that is a no-no to even consider. The interest of this project of road is that it would give you the sole access to your territory instead of not being able to access through the Orma Road without going through Emerald and et cetera, et cetera. The other reason is that instead of building a hydromet plant at Emerald Junction, we could, if it's interesting, build it here. So that the jobs opportunities potential for the Innu of Metimikush and Lac John and the Naskapis will not be fly-in, fly-out jobs or away from home. It will be directly in your own region. So I'm just out there trying to see if it's something that we should consider, something of interest, or if it's absolutely no interest. So obviously, if somebody comes back to me and say, Guy, population is against, community is against it, we will not put any more thoughts about it. But I wanted, before going and making a final decision to go to Orma Road, that we ought to discuss about it.
Ja, bet na maskna yun na wo ito mani ispes na da ito mo daganot na maskno Emerald Road da Sherwood ito mo na ito sa tao da. Kena da juat no dagan na go dagan ako dagana na ganot is nuts na utasa ka pa jo ya ka ya. But ito stabi niyo maskna mo kayo. Ko Sherwood ito mo na maskno ako dun tayo bet sa tao na Katuskastać kene zabazać na iżnio. Kada katuskastać kaga i to idać chyba że to dać. Bo to na że mi zaga że nie i ta woda ci jojo. Mi masknają że to mój zenda. Like for once the road there, like the territory there,
Yeah.
it's all like we have a map, a traditional map, that the roots of the Naskapis, like,
Yeah.
and the hunting grounds, and maybe council will show it to you.
Yeah. Yeah, of course.
Kung niya sa question mo dagat si isnagwat to go na mas kano ni Swiji sa question mo go na tayo Labrador to kanya bag Emerald na mas kano. Kama ko tayo si ito mo tagano mas kano da special ba. Ang ganda to kasi kwaji jamon.
Yes, please. Wait, because I don't hear you in front. Yes. They put me what? It does not work.
The law 97 that Quebec wants to pass that legislation. If that happens, he can do anything he wants. So I don't know what's going to happen, even though if we want that route there. It would be beneficial to a certain extent, though. But then again, on the other side, that'd be a downfall for a lot of people. You know, because of animals, food again, and what kind of a material will be used. Would it be gravel, pavement?
No, gravel.
See, that's another thing. And here we struggle with this gravel.
Yep.
And now nobody wants to pick medicine along the highway or nearby here because of all that dust.
The dust.
Yeah. And me neither. I don't want to eat these ptarmigan grouse nearby here because that's what they eat. It lands on their food, eh?
Yep.
So that food chain is kind of like destroyed now. You can get sick. It's almost like buying a chicken, from Walmart. You know how they feed these chickens, eh?
Mm.
No freedom. They just
No, I
eat.
don't, because
Yeah.
otherwise I would not eat them.
Yeah, see, so this same thing.
Yeah.
So that's the downfall. So that's one thing that um,
When we get to the pavement or the gravel, let's first start to decide if it's worth building a road there. If it's worth talking about it and starting some research, then we start talking about, is it going to be paved? Should it be paved or not? I'll tell you a story when I was working with Nemaska. First time I went in, and we were ready, and there is a road. It exists. It's Route du Nord, from Chibougamau to the junction of the Route d'Abbé James, going through Nemaska. Okay, it's a gravel road. So I traveled there maybe once a month, come from Quebec City with a pickup truck. I arrived in a consultation like this, and one guy said, "We're going to help you force the government to pave that road. It's too dangerous." I said, "I'm going to be against it." "What do you mean you're going to be against it?" I said, "Every time I drive that road, I cross at least 3 graders, okay? And the road is well maintained. You can easily drive 120 kilometers an hour safely. When I drove from Matagami to Radisson on that paved road that is not maintained, because when it's paved, they don't maintain it anymore. It's dangerous, more dangerous than the gravel road if it's properly built. Now, I say, I'm not the one who's going to say, and all of these graders operators were Crees, okay, all the way up to the junction. So I safely drove on a gravel road that was well built and maintained. If you do pave these roads, and I'm open for discussion, I'm just telling you what I lived myself for about 8 years driving that road. I would not like it to be paved because the Route d'Abbé James was a dangerous. Because once it's paved, they don't maintain. They wait that it caves in and then they rebuild the road. It's not what you want. But on the Route d'Abbé James, on the Route du Nord, all the dangerous curves, all of the places along where there was camps, hunting camps and fishing camps for the Crees, they had to put dust agent, rebatement agent, so that you could easily pass. You would not put dust on the camps and the people living there. So these are the type of details that we're absolutely open to discuss, and we're open to hear because we've got some experience about it. But I get your point. But before we get in these nitty-gritty details, let's decide if it's worth at least envisioning a road that goes from Schefferville to the mine.
so how long is that road, do you think? How long?
325 kilometers
325.
here.
Wow.
Yeah, roughly 325. It's approximation because
It's kilometers, right? Yeah, it's here to Cecil on a train. It's like from here to Cecil
yeah,
on a train.
yes,
366, yeah.
yes, it's gonna take about 10 hours from the mine to Schefferville.
Yeah. But mind you, here there's a lot of ore. And that's why I'm saying about the animals.
Yes,
James Bay is gravel. It's different. It's not ore. Because I traveled that before, couple summers. Yeah. So that's the thing.
yeah,
But time will come when we'll talk about it.
sure, absolutely, and don't hesitate.
Oh,
Michel?
no, I won't.
No, but I mean, once we're gone and you still want to talk, you either call me or you talk with the liaison officer and we'll
I'll
have a
write it down.
conversation.
I like writing things down.
Oh, I like reading things.
So I don't forget.
Yeah.
That's why I ask for request the reports.
There is a
Okay,
very good report on our website, the preliminary economic assessment, with good answers to your questions. Thank you. Thank you. Hein? Ben moi, je parle pas de ça. C'est eux autres. Ça, c'est la chef. No, not that next meeting. Yeah, well, I'll let you speak. I know, finish. You know why? It's because the others are losing.
Tienes como go now.
Huh? Panthers. Oh, no. And for everybody that was on the live streaming, thank you very much for attending. Why?